2025 will apparently be the year for table setting. Or so I hear. Yep, table setting is taking centre stage, with enthusiasts reviving the art of creating stunning tablescapes inspired by bygone eras. Elbows. And the great thing about vintage is that it's timeless, and so speaking about trends feels a bit like a juxtaposition. Oh, what a great word. But the fact is that more people are cottoning on that age adds visual interest to a room. Antique and vintage furniture are inherently timeless. So that table that looked beautiful in the 1920s still looks great today, and it's not going to go out of style anytime soon. And I hear on the grapevine that table setting is the next hot thing to hit the vintage community. From delicate china and embroidered linens to crystal glassware and heirloom silver, every detail matters. Vintage table settings are about storytelling through aesthetics, and younger generations are leading the charge, scouring thrift stores, estate sales, and online marketplaces for one-of-the-kind pieces that transform every meal into an experience. And the great news? You can't really mess up these trends, as they're endlessly versatile, so you can adapt them to your own home and style. Not to mention, buying vintage and antique pieces that you love is always on trend, no matter the season or year. Now, a formal table is certainly not part of our everyday lives anymore. In a fast-paced, constantly connected digital life, taking the time to set a table and eat around it as a family is a bygone tradition. In fact, some of us don't even have dining rooms. Yep, in Britain, the houses are surprisingly small, and in many architectural plans, a dining room just didn't make the cut. So instead, people dine at the kitchen counter or off their knees in front of the telly, or skulk off to their room to eat their food to the glow of their laptop screen. And while this is fine and understandable in today's world, I'm excited about bringing this tradition back. But I have a confession to make. I live in one of those British houses. I do not have a dining room. So how am I supposed to show you the art of table setting without even a table? Fraud! Well, I always like to show people how, no matter their living situation or budget, we can still adopt that lady of the manor mentality if we want to. And I'm going to prove it. But why bother eating around a table? Well, it makes the meal become more of an event. You sit down, you place your napkin on your lap, and then slowly you enjoy each course, all the while conversing, laughing, clinking, truly engaging with the people that you're with, or allowing yourself to mindfully enjoy a meal. So move over fashion and furniture, because 2025 is bringing a whole new vibe to vintage trends. It's time to set the table. Literally. Spread a clean, crisp tablecloth that is free from fold creases. If you don't have time to iron, then opt for a thin lace tablecloth, but nothing with bumps or ridges. For my theme, I'm going for a woodland tablescape with greens and creams as the main colour palette. I've gone for dark wood, and I'm adding this fruit bowl as the centrepiece because it's not too tall, so I'll still easily see my guests. In it, I'm adding dried flowers, woodland-themed trinkets, and also these pine cones that have a green hue. I don't know if it's just me, but I like the idea of hiding things within my tablescape that my guests can point out or notice as they eat their meal. Like this robin that not only fits the woodland theme, but is also an homage to my grandpa, who once told me that his first theatrical role was playing a robin redbreast in a school play. Next up, to act as a table runner, I'm adding a small amount of hand-picked holly, as the festive season is just around the corner, or for many, already here. Adding foliage as your table runner is a really great option, even better if it's real foliage, because it adds so much texture and visual interest to your design. And it's basically a great way to really pad out your tablescape and make it feel more full without it being too cluttered. Then I'm adding this beautiful vase of flowers. The vase belonged to my nan. But rather than it taking centre stage, because as I said before, it's a bit too tall, I'm popping it to the side. but this beautiful bouquet adds a few more pops of colour and interest to the overall design. Because flowers are not just for adorning windowsills or desks, they can be a fantastic part of your table setting. If you're unsure on which to choose, seasonal flowers work well, or those that match your interior. If it's autumn, opt for deep red rosebuds, orange lilies, or perhaps amber-toned chrysanthemums. These can be placed in small vases spread across the table, or maybe in a large decorative bowl in the centre. I'm also adding these delightful felt woodland creatures that are actually Christmas decorations, but I think they'll go really well with the theme that I'm going for. That's the great thing about creating a tablescape. It's all about creativity and using what you already have. Table smalls are also an excellent addition to any table setting. These small, bygone decorative pieces, such as salt spoons and knife rests, are taking centre stage once again. These miniature, utilitarian details will instantly elevate your tablescape, and they're the easiest way to add personality to your next dinner party. Case in point, this vintage salt dispenser and that adorable miniature gravy boat, which suits the woodland theme perfectly. Honestly, these items are such great conversation starters, and in this house, there's plenty more where they came from. Then I'm adding these dark wood candelabras that match the dark wood of the fruit bowl and these lovely twisted green candles. Then I'm using a deep green placemat to keep that green theme going, but you can instead use a charger plate. This is placed in the centre of the setting upon which other plates are set, and it has multiple functions. It serves as decoration and adds to the aesthetics of the table. It ensures your guest setting is never empty during the dinner, and crucially, it's a tool useful for hot plates where guests can adjust the charger plate without risking burning their fingers on a hot plate. And like I said, it doesn't have to be a plate, it can be a traditional placemat or something more contemporary like a piece of slate or wood. Then I'm adding more utensils for when we have dessert later, which if you haven't already guessed is of course going to be cake. And then one more mini item that I absolutely love, this cork lady. To a lot of people, this might seem like quite an eclectic mix of vintage design, but that's kind of what we're all about. That sort of mismatched feel and perfectly imperfect is kind of what we go for. Now, when it comes to setting your table for your guests, it's important to remember that I am not organising a formal dinner, but something much more casual. However, as a rule of thumb, cutlery is usually set out in order of use, working outside in. Outer utensils are for the first courses, with the innermost set reserved for the main course. Napkins can be placed either to the left of the forks or underneath the forks. If space is limited on your table, you can also place the napkin in the middle of the setting or on top of the charger plate. A soft linen and cotton napkin works really well because textiles can add timeless beauty and a soft touch. When choosing colours for napkins and tablecloths, consider matching or contrasting with your flowers. A light grey tablecloth can make the pink flowers truly pop, while a navy blue napkin can highlight white flowers. We've gone for a neutral cream to match the lace tablecloth and allow the flowers to do their magic and add a pop of colour. Forks go on the left of the setting. The only exception is an oyster fork, which is sometimes used in a formal table setting and would be placed on the right alongside the knives. Knives go to the right of the setting, and the exception to this is if you have a bread plate. This is placed to the top left of the setting with the butter knife on top of the plate. If serving dessert, the dessert spoon or dessert fork should be placed above the plate. If you're using both a dessert spoon and fork, then the spoon handle should be on the right, while the fork handle should present to the left. This is so that the right hand can easily pick up the spoon and the left hand uses the fork. Glassware is set above the knives. There are different glasses for different drinks, but they're all grouped together in the top right corner of the setting. Some tips to pulling it all together. Balance your colours. Ensure not everything is in the same shade. If you have a white tablecloth, try colourful napkins and flowers to create contrasts. Vary heights. Play with the height of your flower arrangements, use low vases, tall stems, and everything in between to create dynamics on your table. Focus on details. Small details like candlesticks, napkin rings, and cutlery can also play a significant role in your table setting. Let these complement your flower and linen theme. Flowers are an unbeatable element in table settings. They create a sense of luxury, warmth, and hospitality. Whether you're preparing a dinner for 2 or a party for 20, these tips can help you set the perfect mood. And if you're like me and you feel that your television is offsetting your vintage theme, then consider using one of these YouTube painting videos. There are thousands of these videos all over YouTube with loads of different landscapes that will just help your television blend in a little bit more. Just something to think about if you want to take focus away from the digital items in your home. Obviously, with the festive season just around the corner, there are plenty of reasons to think about experimenting with your table layout. And for anyone in the UK that fancies getting some Christmas inspiration to create your own vintage Christmas, then you can grab a copy of the Derbyshire Life magazine this Friday, where you might see a familiar face. Now, of course, traditions have changed in regards to setting the table, and likely this level of formality won't come back on a daily basis. However, pulling out the family china once in a while, sitting down and taking your time to engage and sincerely savour not only the food, but the memories and milestones we are living through is something worth holding on to. Because it's not truly about the formality, it's really about the intention of making something special. And a fancy table may help remind you and your guests to slow down, be grateful for those we have lost, moments we share, and celebrations we cherish. And once everyone's ready to wind down after an evening of soaking in the atmosphere, it's of course time for tea and coffee, where I have the chance to display my gorgeous teapot and coffee pot and this adorable sugar bowl and milk jug that go perfectly with the woodland theme and match the gravy boat. That wasn't intentional, by the way. So whether you're treating yourself to a spot of luxury by dining alone or inviting others round, I would encourage you to put your devices aside for just a moment and try experimenting with your tablescape, even if it's just once in a while. Let me know in the comments what your favourite vintage table find is, and I'll see you next time, because I'm hungry.